Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here today with me. You know, this has been a very challenging year, and it's an understatement really, and one of the things that I have missed the most is travel. And I want to talk to you today about it in a kind of different way than, just to say, are you interested in traveling or where do you want to travel? But just to get some thoughts from you on how you're working with this idea now. What's your mindset as it relates to travel? Now, I know that over the years we have made accommodations. We've done virtual travel. We've got together with groups and just kind of fantasized places that we'd like to go. I've done a lot of research. I've been thinking more and more, maybe like you, of places that I really do want to go. Maybe there's going to be another year or so that I won't be able to get to Bali or to some of the amazing places that I had planned. But what's possible? And that's kind of where I want to go with this conversation today. Just want to get your feedback on where you are with it. Now, travel restrictions are still in place in most places around the world. I know that, for example, I cannot travel to the UK without going into quarantine for 2 weeks. And different countries have different rules as I record this about what's possible in the world of travel. But where will you go when it's all opened up and we're able to move about the world again? What's on your mind? What's the place that you really, really want to visit? I know for me, I want to go back to the UK. I want to go to England and Scotland and see my family there, and also just look around the country. That's one thing that I've actually come to in the last few months is I really do miss my England and UK, and there's so many places that I haven't been. I've kind of focused my attention over the last 8 years traveling the world and going to places that are exotic and challenging and fun. But I think as protocols start to shift and a vaccine becomes available, and be able to be used by everybody, we will be able to start thinking about travel again. So, what are you thinking about your travel plans for the next year? Are you going to stay close to home? Have you reevaluated the places that you really, really want to go and you're going to try to make that happen? Are you going to be more comfortable traveling if there is a vaccine available? Will you take the vaccine? Will you use that as a way to get back into the world of travel again? I know I've been reading some articles about using the vaccine as a way to create kind of a travel passport. So when you get on a plane or a boat or an airplane, you will actually need to show your travel passport, and that travel passport could include a test, a COVID test, just before you get on the flight or however you're traveling, and also indication that you have taken the vaccine. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's a good idea? That the airlines, cruise lines, train companies should all get together and just say, hey, let's create a travel passport where people can say, well, take a test, and maybe testing by then will be a lot easier and straightforward. Take a test and also ensure with written documentation that I have had the vaccine. I have mixed feelings about it, but I wonder how you feel. I'd love to get your feedback. I just feel like we haven't reached out to our 60Me community and asked this question yet. And I think it would be a really good one for me to understand and just for you amongst yourselves to have a conversation. So for example, I really want to cruise again. I never was a big cruise person, but then I kind of got hooked on it and I love it and I really would love to cruise. And I've been following some of the developments on the cruise lines, and they are changing their protocols, their testing ability, their requirements for activities on board, social distancing, spacing, wearing masks. I read that Viking has now put on board, I think it's the Viking Sun, a laboratory where they can do testing on board for their cruise personnel and also for passengers. And they're going to do it very seriously, and they're testing it out. I know that MSC has already had some cruises in the Mediterranean where they put into practice, certain guidelines about cleanliness, hygiene, distancing, masks, and so on. And I know people have written about that. So the cruise lines seem to be doing their best. I mean, it got off to a very bad start, admittedly. But I think I have to keep reminding myself that was like in March of 2020. We had no idea what we were working with. cruise lines that had passengers on board during that time, they just were doing, I mean, I think honestly, genuinely were doing their best. You can look back and say it was a disaster and they didn't do a good job, but they didn't know what they were doing. And that's not in like a negative way. It's like no one knew. It was just an insane hit on us. So we didn't know how to deal with it. So anyway, if you are thinking about traveling, cruising, taking a flight to see friends, family, or just to travel, what is your kind of minimum? What would the requirement be that you would accept? And just how do you feel about it? How do you feel about putting into place some protocols that that might require some activities and actions that need a decision? Vaccines, protocols for cleanliness, and so on. So I guess a lot of people are doing travel in a smaller way. They're not sort of breaking the bubble rule, and they're doing travel in their RVs. I have some friends that have done that in the States, and doing things that are just a little bit less of a risk. Are you doing something like that? Are you doing local travel, maybe a road trip? Of course, camping, things where you're keeping a distance from people and staying within your family bubble or in your family group. Is that something that you're doing right now? Another thing to consider, I want to mention this. Actually, there's an article I'm referring to here by Sue Rudolph, one of our bloggers, about this idea of, travel restrictions are going to lift at some point, and where do you want to go? But she talks about some ideas. She's a travel agent herself, so came at it from that perspective, saying that there are some deals. And there are some deals both in terms of financial, benefit, like cruise lines and travel companies are reducing their expenses for 2021, 2022. I mean, I've even seen World Cruises now for 2023. And they're putting into place good deals if you want to take advantage. And the good thing is that most of them, and of course, check into this in detail before you book anything, but many are actually giving easy ways to cancel, like 45 days before the event. You can cancel with no charge, no penalty. And I think that's something that the cruise and travel companies are actually putting into place. They just cannot leave it like they didn't know before, but you can't leave it for people not to cancel. So there will be last minute cancellation benefits. There will be additional cleanliness on planes, more attention to detail, spraying and disinfecting and testing. There'll be protocols in place, as I mentioned. Mentioned the travel passport. Now, insurance, most insurance companies now, and again, check it with yours, do include COVID coverage. So if you get COVID while you're traveling, they will cover you. That was not the case a year ago. 8 months ago. So it's really important that we do that. Another thing is to kind of watch and wait and use your travel agents. Now, as I said, Sue is a travel agency, but they're up to date with the latest. And before we used to go online and do our own things and book our own travel, we didn't really think about what could change at the last minute. But this is their business, travel agents' business, and they know what's going on. Now, what wasn't allowed today might be allowed tomorrow. They may have a vision of what's going to happen in a month's time that you don't actually have. And I'll mention that Sue, by the way, I've never actually attended one of her workshops or her webinars, but she does free webinars, her company, where you can travel virtually. So if you're thinking, I want to go to the Maldive Islands, or you want to go to, Rwanda or somewhere, that you maybe hadn't thought about, you can go, they have these webinars which you can join free of charge, and you can get a guided tour of the place that you are considering. So I think my attitude now about travel agents, I used to be so independent, I can do it myself. I don't need a travel agent to help me and charge me, but they don't charge that much because they get their benefit from the travel company. So when they sell a cruise, you don't pay them extra. They get a commission from the cruise company. So I think it's really important that we give travel agents kind of maybe another look, because they are truly plugged in to what's going on with this COVID situation. And they really get excited about your trips. I mean, Sue's article that you can read is just so fun. She really genuinely wants to help people to enjoy travel again. And I think it's really, really important that we look at all the resources that we've got available now. I mean, in our lockdown lounges, our 60ME lockdown lounges, which we're doing through our Patreon group, we actually have started virtual travel. So we have a group of people that meet every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday, and we just chat about stuff, this whole COVID world. But we also talk about travel. So we traveled as a little mini group virtually to the Galapagos Islands. We learned all about the pink iguanas and the blue-footed booby, which I didn't know about. And then we've gone to the, let's see, where did we go? We're going to go to the Seychelles and Iceland. And we also visited, where did we visit? We've been all over the place, but it's kind of cool. And we do it as a little mini group. We just go out, look for videos and, drone pictures of the area. And then we come back on our meeting, our lockdown meeting, and share. So that's another thing you can do. But travel, I don't know, travel just for me, it's not all just about the cultural immersion and the new places and, the whole experience. It's about learning. And I think that was the show to me when we did the virtual trip to the Galapagos. And I was like, I've never been there. And I've never even looked at video of the Galapagos Islands. Probably won't get there this lifetime, but it was nice to just look around and share with other people. Did you see that? Did you experience that? Anyway, it was fun. So I just want to really just do a shout out to travel and just ask where when the restrictions are lifted, and they will be. It's going to be okay. Where will you go? And how are you feeling about the possibility of having to have some limitations with a travel passport or taking the vaccine? What's your thought on that? So anyway, tell us about your travel dreams. Let's keep each other inspired and motivated, and just have a really nice day, everybody, wherever you are. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and press the notification bell. It'll tell you when new videos are coming out. But we are here to support you and be by your side. So stay strong and well. Have a really lovely day, and we'll talk again really soon. Bye-bye for now.